Musings by Nikki. Today is the day that I am super excited about. We are going to attempt the technique that I first saw it from Gina. I don't know if she saw it from somebody else or if she thought of it herself. But Gina at Firefly Studio 67 did this technique, and I was like, OMG, I gotta try that. So then I saw Gail doing it just not that long ago, and I thought, yep, come on, remind myself. So then when I started this book, I was like, we're gonna do it. And I have recently, so these are my little scraps left from, what we've been working on in the Heart book. But I also recently bought a couple lots of quilters leftovers. So that's where I get these little weird shapes. And it's great for this kind of stuff. It's great for making little fabric tabs and whatnot. But also it's going to be perfect for doing this project. The thing that you will need that you probably don't just have lying around is embroidery stabilizer. So this is the brand that I got, and I just got mine on Amazon. It's L'Entoilage. Am I even saying that even close? I don't know. But if I feel like if I put some syrupy kind of semi-French accent on, maybe I pass. Anyway, super stable stabilizer. And it's wash away, water soluble embroidery stabilizer and topping. That's what you want, the wash away one. Okay. Because, so let's open it. I haven't even opened it yet. Because we're going to put it on top of all of our little scraps and then sew over it, and it's going to stabilize everything. And then we are going to wash it away. That's when the magic happens. I'm going to save the label though. We're going to wash it away. It feels like plasticky. Can you see it's kind of shiny? And this, I have no idea where they even started. This looks like it's taped around 27 times. Come on, people. Doing the most. Gotta make it the most difficult to get open. Anyway, so you need this because this is the thing that's going to go on top. How in the world am I supposed to open this, you guys? I'll just get the little finicky scissors out. There. I think I slid it. I'm going to lose the top layer anyway, I'm sure. Okay, there we go. Yep, that chunk's a goner. So, it feels totally weird, but yeah, because I guess it's got to be water soluble, right? It feels like plastic. Anyway, when we sew over the top of this will hold it all together. And we'll sew over the top of it a whole bunch of bajillion million times. And then we'll dip it in the water, and this stuff just dissolves. It goes away. So that's the part that as soon as I saw that, I was like, oh my gosh. I was like a little kid. I was like, I've got to do that. So I'm planning to make a piece that's big enough. While I'm doing this, I might make two. I'm going to make one piece that's big enough that it could be a journal cover if we decide to go with this just as the entire journal cover. But Gina also had some other pieces that she was cutting shapes like hearts out of and stuff, and that looked super cute too. So I might make two of these because I want to try cutting some hearts out too. And while I'm doing the process, I might as well just go for it. So I've got these scraps, but I also have, let's throw these over here. I also have this pile So this is like, you know, this is what I'm talking about when I say I bought quilters leftovers. That's what this is. All these little random squares, little shapes like this, random strips and stuff. So now Gina also said that she's done them with like all kinds of different colors, and then she's done some that were just like kind of all blue or all pink. So I think that's what I'm going to try, is to just, because I think that probably provides like a better, more cohesive look, is just different shades of pink. So let's go through and pick out a bunch of pink. So like, see, here's like little corner cut off pieces and stuff. So we'll pick out a bunch of pink stuff. Oh my goodness, the birds, you guys. It's so nice outside and the birds are just singing. So then things like this, do I count this as pink? I don't know. I'm going to put it over there and we'll decide. Oh, look, this is a jackpot of some pink stuff. That's already sewn. So I think I kind of look like I have a lot of blue here too. So maybe we'll do some blue one as well, like blues and teals here. Let's see, we'll say this reddish, that's pink. We'll call that pink. We'll put some of that in there. We'll definitely put these bits from like our leftovers from the tabs and stuff. And then while I've got this mess on my desk, I might as well pull out some blue stuff too, right? Blues and greens, let's do that. So we'll pull out some blues and greens. This, I think that probably counts as pink. That I've got plenty of. Look at that. That's just printed that way. Very 90s. Okay. Blues and greens. Not this green though, that's too green. Blues. Oh, that's sweet. That's a little like eyelets. What's that called? Why can't I think of what it's called? Oh, that's gonna make me crazy. I wanted to say gingham and it's not gingham. What is that called? You guys, my brain. This. Why can't I think of what that's called? It's gonna make me crazy. I'm gonna make myself crazy. Looks like there's some little die cuts of petals. We could put some of that. I've got some of that going in the pink, but I could put some of it in the blue too. Oh, there's some more pink. Here's some more blue. Blue. What's this? These have already been sewn into like, that's actually just sewn into a legit square. Why would you do that? Right sides together. There's no opening. It's like sewn all the way around the whole thing. So there's no opening. You can't turn it. Why would you do that? This one, oh, these are too. Why? I don't know, but I think, do I have some of this fabric? I think I want this fabric. Let's just, yeah, that's that. Yeah, that goes with the blue-green thing. I'll just have to cut them open and put them on there. That's very orange. That's very not the style we're going for. That one's cute. More pink. Some more blue. What would I call that? Some blue floral there. Some more pink. Not those. Okay, so, whoa. Look how bright that is. Shazam. I've got some really bright fabrics. Oh, baby quilt from the 90s. I've got some more fabric that is really bright reds, really like bright primary colors, like this kind of thing. And I totally have been dreaming up projects for that. Okay, we're going to throw that over there for now. So now, oh, I also have, so next to my sewing machine, while I sew, I can cut my ends off and stuff, my tails. I've got all of this. This is where like the ends and stuff go. The tails of the, oh, and sometimes some garbage, paper garbage apparently. But yeah. Oh, and these are some little fabric scraps from when I was making my apron. But there's also some lace bits and stuff in here. So Gina like spreads some of this out on top as well. So we're going to even use that up. We're using all kinds of stuff up today. So let us start with the pink, because I don't know that I'm going to do both of these on camera, So what we need is a base layer. And I've got here from this quilt lot, I also got some bigger pieces of fabric. So I'm just going to use this. That sounds good. You won't even see this. You'll see it on the reverse side, but you won't see it on the cover at all. And then let's see. The embroidery stabilizer is only 9 inches. So we're going to have to do a couple layers of it probably. But I'm going to just cut mine to the size of, I don't even know what this is from. It's just in my stash of stuff. So I'm going to cut I'm going to use it as a template to roughly make my background piece here. Sorry, most of this is going to be off camera way back here. And this piece doesn't have to be exact because you'll want to trim the edges too at some point. Like once we get all the sewing done and the washing off of the thing done. And then I'm going to have to shoot this video either over 2 days or, let's see, just timing wise. And then I'll save that piece because we can cut that up too. Okay, so there we go. Because once I wash the stuff away, then we've got to like give it time to dry. So what we're going to do is cut up. We want to put a bunch of little tiny scraps on here. So we literally just cut up the fabric, right? We start doing this. And I think my plan of attack, because I was thinking about this even in the shower this morning because I was so excited. This one has like, I wonder if you'll see that very much. I think by the time we end up layering all this stuff, you probably won't see a lot of this because this just gets layered and layered and layered. So what we want to do is make like a really dense layer of these clippings so that we can pin this stuff down over the top of it. And then we're going to get this fabulous, well, hopefully we're going to get this fabulous scrappy, but like really kind of shabby, cool looking. What I'm really the most excited about is like the texture of it, because it looks like the texture is going to be fantastic. The great hand feel. And I love holding a journal that feels cool in your hands. I just think that's like the added benefit of it. Because honestly, when I make a journal, I want people to, even if they're not, I understand that not everybody's a journaler, and I understand that a lot of people buy my journals that don't journal every day, and that's fine. That's your MO. But in that case, like, I like for it to still feel inspiring. So maybe you just have it because you like looking at it. But part of what makes you like looking at it is that it feels cool in your hands, and that starts with the cover. So, okay. Well, as we snip away here at our fabric, I will use the opportunity to tell you guys a little bit more about what I kind of teased in a video earlier this week when we were working on the heart journal, that I am now a admin with Emily Plowfield over in the Facebook group Junk Journal Inspirations. So if you are a member, which I know several of you are, because I recognize your names from my subscribers and stuff, and so as I've been over there starting to, you know, moderate comments and stuff, I see you guys and your posts, and I see you commenting on things, and that's lovely. So if you're over there, that's awesome. I look forward to interacting with you guys and doing fun stuff over there. And if you are not, if you're on Facebook, but you are not a part of the group, I'm going to put the link. I think I said I was going to put it in the last one, and then I neglected to actually do it. And Jamie, bless her heart, she tried to put the link, but it wouldn't let you because YouTube comments, I don't think, let you put a Facebook link. I don't know. Anyway, I will remember this time to put the link to the Facebook group down below in the description box. And you guys should go over. You have to, like, I don't know, apply is the right word, but you have to answer a few questions. So just to make sure that you understand the rules of the group. It's still, not gonna lie, is making me crazy that I can't think of what this is called. Please, somebody write it in the comments and end my agony. Not that that will stop it now, but... So go over to the Facebook group, go to the link, and go to the Facebook group and answer the membership questions. Because I'm kind of, you know, part of what I like about doing this and, you know, YouTube and everything. I am by no means getting rich doing YouTube or even by Etsy, because honestly, somebody had asked me to, I was just kind of checking my pile here, but like, that's how deep we want it. And so I need to get it across this whole thing. So we're going to need to amass a much larger pile than that. So I'm just going to keep snipping away. You know, someone asked me recently about, can I do a video about pricing my books? And honestly, I don't think I can, because that is a comment or a question that I have seen so often. And I think anybody who sells their books on Etsy or eBay, I mean, however you decide to do it, your own website, I think it is one of the most difficult things to do because A, we usually undervalue ourselves and our work. B, depending on how much money you're spending any given month on supplies and digital kits and that sort of stuff, I feel like you're never going to recoup it all. But also, and I'll say this again, that's not why I do this. So there is that. This is therapy for me, like literally for my body, my pains, my hurt. This is something that keeps me active and in my right brain, and that is all very important for managing my pain. I choose to manage my pain with no meds, so I don't react to meds very well. This is some little scraps of muslin, so it was attached to the other thing. We're just going to whack it up and throw it on here, throw it on the pile. So we're essentially creating wood chips of fabric chips. So anyway, pricing your work. Tough one. And I honestly battle it every single time I go to put a journal up for sale. You know, I've had people tell me I'm overpriced, and I've had many more people tell me that I'm not, you know, that I'm selling myself short. And, you know, I feel like in my head I can justify reasons to agree with both of those people. So anyway, if you were the person or people, because it's been multiples, who asked me to do a video about selling price, then I apologize, but I don't think I can do it. I'm gonna rip some chunks of this down. Anyway, so in this Facebook group, one of the things we kind of want to do as Emily and I and Jody and Sass and Dee Dee, Jody, Sass, and Dee Dee, our 3 moderators, as we start developing this group, I think we want to, it's already been developed. So Donna gave Emily a great group full of awesome people and a lot of really good inspiration. It's a good place to go find inspiration for projects. I have already just really enjoyed seeing how, you forget that like a lot of people do the same, a lot of us do kind of the same style. Obviously the shabby chic thing, that's pretty common, but it also really lends itself to what we do. But then over there, I've seen, people making journals that are like very customized or doing projects that are very different than what I would normally do. And it just kind of reminds me how vast and, very different we all are, and how our work is all very different. But also how similar the techniques can be passed along and stuff. So look at this. This is a pile of 3. We're going to cut through them all at the same time. So one of the things I want to do over there, one of the things that I will be doing is monthly freebies, digital freebies. And in an effort to try to reach all levels, because I know that there are some of you on here watching this video right now who have made hundreds of journals and, sell them and have Etsy shop and sell supplies. And I know there are digital designers watching me right now. And then I know that there are lots of people that are on the opposite end of that spectrum, and they're saying, oh man, I haven't even made my first journal yet. I'm just here looking for inspiration. I hear that a lot. So what we want to do is kind of meet everybody in a place where they're comfortable. And honestly, I really want to encourage people to do our craft because I think it's so awesome. And so, and one of the things that I really have always loved about doing digital design is, again, a couple things. It's kind of like an imperishable supply, right? So glue, you have to replace all the time. You use it up. It perishes if you don't. But digital kits, one of the things I love about what we do is that digital kits, like you can buy digital kits and reprint them and reprint them and reprint them as often as you like and use them in different ways and stuff. And everybody has a different take on them. So that's kind of one of the things that I love about digital design. And I love how everybody uses them differently. So that's one of the things that kind of makes me think, okay, over on our new Facebook group, let's put out some freebies. And I think my plan is right now to try and do some monthly, and then to also do like maybe some templates, some basic templates for people who are maybe new. And if you're newer to this and you're struggling with how to do things, and you don't when I started junk journaling, I did not want to go headlong into investing tons and tons of money into supplies that I may or may not continue to use, because I thought, what if I make a journal and I really don't enjoy it? Or, what if I do it and, I'm not that good at it, whatever. I didn't want to just rush out and buy all the things. I kind of wanted to give myself a trial period. So if that's you and you're not wanting to spend tons of money on all the things, then I'm hoping that maybe some of these freebies and templates and stuff will help you out with a way to get started, and give you kind of a jumping off point. Is that attached? Yeah, I thought so. It felt folded over. So am I just rambling without having any notes in front of me or anything about all the things I was trying to remember that I wanted to say? But mainly what I want to say is, if you're on Facebook and you're not a part of the group, and I'm not just saying this because I'm an admin there, no, I'm saying it because I really do think it's a fun group. And I think that, especially if you're just looking for some inspiration, it's a non-selling group, which I like too. There are plenty of selling groups, which is awesome. You know, Tracy Fox has the Foxy Classifieds. There are plenty of places where you can post links to your stuff and sell. That's not what our group is about. It's about supporting each other and inspiring people. Thus the name Junk Journal Inspirations, right? That one's pretty. We got some of this. This is a kind of a cool feeling material. Okay, at some point here, I'm going to have to like spread this out, I think. Let me do a little bit more of this one. I'm going to do some more of this one. This is actually really kind of fun. Not gonna lie. Whacking up these fabric into little hunks, this is kind of fun. It's especially because you don't have to worry about cutting on the lines or anything. This is like, don't cut on the lines time. One of the other YouTubers that I watch from time to time, Bernadette Banner. Do you guys watch her? She does historical, she's a dress historian. So she does, oh my gosh, all this hand sewing. She makes these fantastic replica dresses from the Victorian or Edwardian age and stuff. And she does a majority of her work is hand sewn, which like I have to shake my hands out right now because they're misbehaving. I can't imagine doing the amount of hand sewing that she does. Okay, while I'm talking about her, I'm going to start trying to, well, let's just mix up our little fabric salad here so we get all of those pieces mixed up. And you know what? My glass mat isn't big enough, so I'm going to just take it off for now and put it over here. Ugh. Yep, that was kind of successful. Okay, so anyway, Bernadette Banner, she does lovely work and stuff on her channel. I'm going to try and flip them over so they're at least like right side up. And now Gina went all the way to the edges and Gail did the same, go all the way to the edges. So, okay, that's what I'm going to do as I chat. So I watch her sometimes. Where was I going with that? Why was I talking about why I watch her? Oh, the snipping of the fabric apart. So she takes her cabbage, which is like the leftover, not actual the vegetable, like the leftover bits and pieces from doing, making dresses and stuff, all the little leftover bits. She saves every last little scrap. And at the end, you know, when she's got stuff, she'll snip it into tiny little, teeny tiny little bits and uses those to stuff things. Like, and that's a historical practice, I think, is like taking all of your leftover scraps and she shreds them. This is nothing. She would take this pile here would be the size of the scraps that she has, that she's starting with. And then she'd take them down to a much smaller scale than this. I mean, they're just pretty much shredded by the time she's done with them. But she will always put some, you know, B-roll footage into her videos of her doing that. And I'm always so satisfied watching her do it. It makes me happy watching her shred the fabric up with her scissors. Does that sound weird that I'm happy at the destruction? The destruction makes me happy. Okay. So I'm thinking that our goal here is to basically cover the background fabric so that we don't see any of it showing through with this first fabric layer. Then we're going to go back. I'm going to snip up. We could put some of those threads on there. I'm going to probably snip a little lace and put some of that on top of this. I think I had some lace, shredded laces in my little off cast thing. Anyway, in the interest of time, I am going to continue to do this, but I will fast forward through it because I feel like you've got the gist of what I'm doing here, and you don't need to sit here, and I'm just going to end up like rambling on and on and on and not making less and less sense as I go. So I'm going to fast forward, and I'll see you when I've got this first layer sorted. Okay, so I think I'm good. I feel like I've got, oh, now as I'm saying that, I can see there's a hole. This needs a little more over here. I could probably do this for the next 3 hours, I think, but I think we're pretty good here. I think we're pretty solid. Now I want to fish out some of the little lace bits here. We could throw some of those on, and then also some threads. But now, as I'm saying that, threads, I'm thinking there's black thread and stuff in here too, and I don't want that on this. We'll see how easily I can come up with, just because there's this stuff here, like towards the middle top. There's this, and it's kind of this pretty, it's got gold filament in it. So some of that around on top, goodness, will look pretty. Maybe I can just fish out those tails. And not whatever that is, darker stuff. Okay, let me see if there's any more little lace bits. Yep, there's some. There's one. There's one. This is teeny. Oh, there's another one. Come on. Okay. So I'm gonna pick these little, let's spread these little lace bits around a little. And some of those around on top. And I was thinking I could, oops, almost cut myself, getting a little overzealous there. Okay. I don't know if I need that much more lace on there, but, oh, here's another piece. Although, you know, it's so funny, Jamie. The minute I say I don't think I need that much more lace on there, I can hear Jamie in my head going, yes, you do. You always need more lace. So, in the interest of not being scolded by Jamie, let's whack this on up here, and we'll put that in. Oh, come on. Okay. I'm going to just kind of, and then we'll spread the thread out over the top And then comes the part where we have to like this is the part where I'm the slightly nervousest about, is trying to get the whole thing pinned together. It's also the part where I feel like, have I made my piece too big? Because you have to be able to maneuver it all around under your machine. We'll cross that bridge when we get to it. Okay, now, can you see what I'm talking about? It's like got some gold filament in there. So I'm just gonna kind of, Gina took like some thread that she got in a car boot or something and just kind of started unwinding it around on top of everything. So when I was making the book recently that had this thread in it, this was of course right what I was thinking of, was, oh my gosh, that thread will look so pretty. Kind of spread around on top of my, I don't know, do you call this a collage? A fabric collage? It wants to keep picking up the little lace bits. Okay, I'm not going to mess with it too much because it's just going to keep moving stuff around. But I feel like I've got some kind of spread out all over. Okay, so now we cut pieces of this to put over the top. So I'm going to need to go with 2 pieces kind of side by side here. It smells very, it smells oddly of vinegar. Is that weird? Okay, so now this next step, we take, so I make sure that's covering everything. Now we're gonna take straight pins, like sewing pins, and start pinning it down to make a sandwich with the, you know, the base fabric on bottom and the scraps in the middle and then this on top. So I'm going to go all the way around the edges here, and I'm going to fast forward through this because you guys, I'm just pinning around the edges, and then we'll come back and I'll figure out, should I put some pins in the middle maybe? But let me pin around the edges, guys. I'll fast forward. So, as you can see, I've pinned around the outside edge. Actually, you probably can't see because it's probably just right off camera. On these edges you can. And then I put a few in the middle, like early on where the seam was, because it was starting to separate because it's so slippery. And then I just put like 4 more right here, so it would kind of hold it together. So it's like, right? Now we have to hold it very flat and carefully. Well, let me cover that up. I'll just put it over by my machine. Actually, I wonder if I should bring my machine here. Do you think I can? Maybe. Basically what I'm about to do, guys, I don't know if I'm going to try and film the sewing of this, because honestly, if you want to see it, I will link Gina's video down below because that's where I got the inspiration for this. And she, I believe, shows sewing. If you have a sewing machine, if you're blessed to have a sewing machine with a free arm, where you can just kind of stitch all over without having to spin and turn this, then awesome. go ahead and just run this thing around, all over, around the edges. And so, and I think what I've heard people say is that they sew for like 20 minutes or 30 minutes. Run your bobbin out, refill it, and do some more, okay? The goal is to basically catch every little bit of this, okay? And we're sewing right over this dissolvable stuff, because when we're done, we'll take the whole piece, dunk it in water, and this stuff is going to melt away. I'm so excited. And what will remain is all the fabric bits and that we've now stitched to. So the stitching that we're about to do on top has to hold all this in. So I'll show you, obviously, when I get back from sewing, I'll show you all the stuff that's like stuck on there and stuff. But I'm going to go take it to my machine, sew, and I'll be back in like a half hour with a sewn piece to show you, okay? Be right back. Okay, guys, so I'm over here sewing, and I thought I would just show you kind of like what I'm doing, because I realized, you know, that I just kind of said I'm gonna sew and sew and sew, but I made another one. I already sewed the first one, and I made this other one, and I'm just gonna show you the madness that is sewing this, so that you guys feel like if you are gonna try this, like I'm literally I loaded my bobbin full, and I'm gonna exhaust the bobbin, and it's just madness. So I'm gonna not talk, because you're not gonna be able to hear me over the sewing machine. I'm just gonna start showing you how I wield this giant plastic thing. Now, this one I've already been sewing on for a minute. I've gone around all the edges of my big sheet here, and then I had a few pins in the middle, so I kind of did some crisscrossy type of things to kind of create pockets first. And now I'm just literally going around and around and over and around and in and out and around and around. So I'm going to just do some sewing here. I might speed this up after a minute here. I'll let it go for real time for just a second, and then I'll speed up the rest of it. But this way you can see what I'm talking about by just sewing everywhere, okay? Here we go. Real quick, once I feel like I get to this point and I feel like I have kind of covered all of the pockets, so I don't have any more like giant pockets, then I start going, let's see, did we get, sorry guys, this is like the weirdest angle ever, but then I'm going to start just going like back and forth in zigzaggy, not zigzaggy, but wavy lines all the way across the entire thing. So I'm going to go this way across, and then I'm going to go this way across, and we'll check back in. somewhere back in this corner. So we are donezos. I'm feeling pretty good about this. I'll see you back over at my sewing table. Okay, so this is the first one that I did. This is the one that we cut up and made together. And you can, I'm not sure because you're not going to be able to really see, can you? Yeah, it's hard to see. I used a light thread, and on top, it can't tell because I've used, I have metallic thread down over the top of it too. But I did put in a little bit of a video just showing you all the crazy sewing that I did. So back and forth. And then when I thought I had done enough sewing, I started kind of looking really closely, and I found pockets. Like even now there's a little tear in the stuff, and I can tell that this corner is flapped up, but I'm going to cut that off actually because it's kind of frayed anyway. So like Gina said in her video, once we rinse the stuff off, we'll probably find places where there's like something sticking up, and you can either leave it or you can go back and just zigzag across it. So this is the one we did together. This one, it was just too much fun, you guys, so I made a couple more. This was the one you just saw me sewing on. It's kind of this peachy, pinky colored stuff. And then I did a blue one too, which is gorgeous. This one I put some, I have this kind of yarn that is white and it has some gold fiber in it. So I put that and then some copper thread on top. So, yeah, you can't see that one, the sewing on the back of that one. You can't see the sewing on the back of any of them because it's patterned. Anyway, let's, you guys, I'm so excited to go dip these in the water. So I will, we're going to go over to my sink and dip these in the water and melt this stuff away. I'm so excited. Okay, let's go do that. Okay, guys, we are here. I'm going to get some warm water going, and we're going to start. Oh my gosh, it just dissolves right away. You guys, it just melts. Oh, this is too fun. That is really hot water. So Gina said warm water. So I've just plugged my sink, and I'm kind of just, I've got, this sink gets hot fast. So I've got just warmish water. You can feel in places where it's still kind of like got residue or something. So you got to kind of work it around, I think. Here. Oh my gosh, that is so fun. I can't wait to do the other two. Now I'm so glad that I did the other two. Yeah, okay, so you can kind of feel as you do this, you can kind of feel in a couple of places that there's like still a bit of residue. But man, when that hit the water, it just dissolved like right away. And it looks so cool, you guys. Oh my gosh. But I can see that I have sticking up parts too, even with as much sewing as I thought I did. Okay, let's see. And Gina gives hers like a firm wringing out like this because she's like, remember guys, it's just fabric. Okay, so let's drain that and we'll rinse it again. Oh my gosh, I wish you guys could feel this. Okay. Okay, now I'm going to wring this out. And she says to go and put this on your line, which, you know, those of you in other warm climes will be able to do. I will not because it will just freeze solid. Okay, I'm going to put this over here. Let's do the next one. Oh my gosh, it's so fun. You guys, it just melts. This is the funnest thing ever. I don't know about ever, but it's close. It's up there. know, and it's kind of fun because like as it melts, it reveals all the color better. Because you know, when it's under the plastic, it's kind of muted. But look at that, how pretty is that? Oh my gosh, I'm really excited about this blue one. Okay. Anyway, guys, so you get the picture, right? I'm just gonna keep doing this. I'm gonna do the other one. I'll fast forward for the sake of time. You don't need to hear me get excited about this over and over again. And then I'll meet you back at my desk when we're done. Okay, so we are back. It has now been a day. Not like, oh, it's been a day, but it's been an actual day, 24 hours. And they are dry, and I am in love. So here's some observations. This is the first one I did. This is the one that I cut up and did on camera with you guys. And it's the first one I ever did. And I noticed that there are several places that I missed things, right? So where things just aren't all the way stitched down, lace, you know, stuff like that. So I'll put it under the machine. And what I did was I just kind of sewed onto from the side, and then I'd go to a place where I see some stuff and I'd go forward, reverse, kind of over it a few times. Then I'd look for the next spot and do the same thing, and then go to the next spot and do the same thing, right? So I just kind of find my spots and go back and forth, kind of over it. And I'm saying the reason why I'm saying that I have already done that is because, you guys, eye candy. Check that one out. Isn't that just... The colors of this one are so beautiful. And this one had some stuff that was kind of coming up too. So I now have gone back over this one, and I feel like it's way better, like more intact. So this one has a few little spots where some of this copper thread comes up a little bit, but I mean, honestly, to get all of the copper thread, like to get all the thread that you unwind totally sewn down would be that would be a pretty amazing feat if you somehow were able to do that. But like this yarn that I put down, all of that's captured and they're pretty good, and all the fabric, you know. So I love that one, and I think that I have a kit, well, I have two kits. I have my Beautiful and Blue kit that I haven't used, that I've got printed out and have wanted to, and this might be a really good cover for that. Or I also have my Birds kit, and this might be a good one for that too. So anyway, there's that one. Then this is the one that you would have seen me doing some sewing on recently, and so I put this one, this is the one that I, you know, just showed you that I remade another one, and was showing you how I did the sewing, just because I thought I would show you some of the sewing and how very long I sewed. So now this is the third one I did. I can still see a few spots. I haven't gone back over this one, so I can still see a few spots here where some things are lifting a little bit. So I'll probably put this back under the machine as well and go over those spots a little bit. But there aren't nearly as many because I feel like I kind of got it, that I needed to go more. So the other ones, and this one's a little bit bigger too, but the other ones I did like a bobbin. I just kind of went till my bobbin ran out, and that wasn't enough. So this one I did like probably a bobbin and a half. If like that's like a measurement, but you know what I mean, right? I had a full bobbin when I started, and when it ran out, I knew I wasn't done sewing yet. So I reloaded it and did probably, you know, expend another half of that bobbin. So then, because I was so addicted and it was so much fun after I washed these things off with you guys, I made one more. and also because I had all this lovely yellow fabric that was kind of peeking out that I hadn't really used in the other ones. So I made this one and absolutely love it. Look how cheerful. And this is going to look great, you know, for like this. It's got little bits of sunflower fabric. This would look great with the sunflower journal, which I also have a kit called Golden Sunny Flowers. So this is the back of this one, but I think you can see on this one better than any other one just how much sewing I did end up doing. So I mean, it's close together and there's a ton of it. So the next question becomes this one, because I did a lot more sewing, it's got some twine and stuff on there, has a little bit more weight to it, but on its own, it is not a journal cover, right? So the next question becomes, how do I turn it into a journal cover? Now, this is the one we made for our journal, which is right here. And look how well it matches. But with all this scrappiness on the side, and I did make these dangles, and I think I lost the footage. I think I either deleted it by accident or it's lost on my computer. I'm going to see if I can find it, but it's nothing earth-shattering if I can't. So I've just made them and you wouldn't have seen me make them. So anyway, those are on here. And I think, you know, when I just kind of do this, it's like, whoa, is that a little overwhelming with all that at the side too? That's a lot. So I think what I might want to do is Gina used hers and cut out heart shapes, and it looked really cute. And since we're doing a heart journal, I think maybe once I go back and fix all these little sticky up flappy parts, I think maybe what I'll do is cut some hearts out and then make like a simple journal cover for that out of some sort of pink fabric, maybe one of these that I have a little bigger piece of. And then I'll make a cover out of that, just a soft cover like we made in the in one of my recent videos where we made a soft journal cover. So I'll just make one of those, cover it in something really standard fabric, and then we'll put some of these hearts on there. So I think that's what I'm going to do. Not obviously in this video. I'm going to, you know, end this one here because we have done our little, oh, and they hung outside. Oh, and they smell fantastic. It was warm enough here that I could put them outside for a little bit. So, and they just, they feel so cool. You see, I'm just keep doing this. They just feel awesome. So anyway, I'm going to end this one here, and then I'll come back with a journal cover that I've made, and we'll do the heart cutout thing. That'll just be a short little video probably. Well, that's what I always say, but we'll just cut some hearts out and we'll just do a little video on that and decorate the cover of it, and then we'll be done. And then maybe that'll be a flip through in the same one or something. Anyway, thanks for coming with me on this. I highly recommend trying this out. If you have a sewing machine, if you can get your hands on the dissolvable embroidery stabilizer, you can find it on Amazon. This was so fun. And seriously, like washing this stuff off and watching this come to life was pretty awesome. And I think this cut down into hearts is going to look so cute on the front of that journal. So anyway, thanks guys for coming along and hanging out with me for my super fun adventure here today. Thank you, Gina, if you're watching this, for the wonderful idea. This is now addictive. And until I see you guys next time, have a wonderful morning, afternoon, evening, middle of the night, whatever time it is, on whatever side of this globe of ours that you live on. And until I see you next time, guys, stay safe and healthy. And I hope that you're able to be crafty, do something that you love, hang out with your family and your kids or your husband or wife, or, take your dog for a walk, whatever it is that makes you happy. I hope you are able to do that. And until I see you guys, God bless and take care. Bye-bye.